I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the meeting to order at 6 p.m. Can I get a roll call?
Michael Cashman.
Present.
Thomas Wood.
Here.
Charles Costick.
Here.
Dana Isabella is absent. Daniel Bosley.
Here.
James Coffey.
Here.
And I, Katie Lucian, present.
Thank you. At the top of the meeting, I'm just going to tell everyone I had oral surgery yesterday, so if I'm a little all over the place, I apologize. Resolution 87, accept the minutes of the previous meeting.
Resolved that Resolved that the minutes of February 6th be accepted and the reading of the minutes be dispensed with.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Costick, Wood, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Resolution carries. Is there anyone seeking public comment this evening? Seeing none, we'll advance to 88, abstract.
Resolved that the abstract of audited claims number 3B-2025 for $309,848.12, abstract 3B-2025 prepays for the amount of $176,639.10 be received as reviewed by the audit committee, and the supervisor is hereby authorized to pay said abstracts.
Is there a motion? Wood, is there a second?
Second.
Costick. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Resolution carries. Resolution 89, agreement with Troy and Banks Inc. Utility Telecommunications.
Whereas it is important to determine the accuracy of the utility and telecommunications remitted to the town of Plattsburgh, and whereas the firm Troy and Banks Inc. would like to enter into an agreement to examine the records of the town of Plattsburgh gas, electric, telecommunications, and water sewer utility service accounts for the purpose of securing refunds, credits, and cost reductions resulting from discovery of charges or costs in excess of those permitted or allowed by applicable contracts, tariffs, statutes, rules, and regulations, and or from overcharges or billing errors. Therefore, be it resolved that the town board approve the retaining of the firm Troy and Banks Inc. to examine said records, and that the supervisor is authorized to execute the attached agreement on behalf of the town of Plattsburgh, and be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the finance manager.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Bosley. Is there a second?
Second.
Costick. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Resolution carries. Resolution 90, request to attend the NISECA annual conference.
Yep, Mystica, we call it. Whereas it is in the best interest of the town that the town clerk's office remain current and informed concerning all aspects of the town clerk's responsibilities and any changes in regulations, and whereas the training for New York State Town Clerks Association, Mystica, is being offered in Syracuse, New York at Syracuse Marriott downtown Syracuse from 27th to the 30th of April of this year. And whereas the town clerk, Kate Fucci, has this educational opportunity within her budget for herself to attend this year, now therefore be it resolved, excuse me, that the town clerk be approved to attend the annual conference and training, and that an amount not to exceed $1,309.22 for lodging, transportation, meals, and registration for the conference be charged to the town clerk's budget. Be it further resolved that copies of this resolution be given to the town clerk, finance manager, and one for her personnel file.
Is Wood, is there a second?
Second.
Bosley. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Resolution carried. Resolution 91, appointment of Adam Staple to MEO2 in the Highway Department.
Whereas the Highway Department has a vacancy and there is a need to add another staff member to that department, and whereas all applications for said position have been reviewed, and the job has been posted by Greg Cornell, Highway Superintendent, as per union contract, and whereas the Highway Superintendent recommends that Adam Stickle be appointed to said position, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Plattsburgh does hereby authorize the hiring and appointment of Mr. Stickle to the vacant position of MEO2 at an hourly rate of $25.64 an hour as indicated by the current Teamsters agreement. And a copy of be given to Civil Service for their final review and approval. Be it further resolved that this appointment will become effective March 24th of 2025. And following Civil Service final approval, the supervisor is hereby authorized to sign all necessary documents for the appointment of Mr. Stickle to the position of MEO2 in the Highway Department with a probation period not to exceed 12 months. It is further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the finance manager, the highway superintendent, and also be placed in Mr. Stickle's personnel file.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Wood, second.
Second.
Costick. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Resolution carries. Resolution 92, travel policy.
Whereas the town of Plattsburgh has adopted a travel policy last updated in 2022 and wishes to update their current policy to comply with current law and regulation. Therefore, be it resolved that effective immediately the revised Town of Plattsburgh travel policy be enacted. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution and the attached revised travel policy be provided to all department heads and filed within the business office.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Bostic, is there a second?
Second.
Augley, discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Time to open.
Yep. Nope. Almost.
Oh, my watch is fast.
Your watch is fast on. By the time that we get this
This is.
open, it'll probably be right on the button, yeah, if you don't mind.
Notice is hereby given that the Town of Plattsburgh Town Board will meet and hold public hearings thereon at the Town Hall located on the Banker Road in the Town of Plattsburgh, Clinton County, New York, on Thursday, March 20th, 2025 at 6:05 p.m. Prevailing time in relation to proposed local law number 1 of 2025, a local law imposing a 12-month moratorium on the applications for battery-based storage systems.
This evening, we'll accept written comments into the record, and we will also open the floor. Is there a motion to open this public hearing?
So moved.
Wood. Is there a second?
Second?
Bostic. Any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Dana Isabella, absent, Dana Bosley,
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes. Public hearing will be open at 6:05 p.m. We'll first start with written comments into the record. I do know that there was a letter submitted from Morrisonville Fire Department, Katyville, District 3, and South Plattsburgh. Would the clerk read the letter into the record?
I will. Dear Supervisor Michael S. Cashman and Honorable Town Board members, please accept this letter as a request to consider renewal of the town's battery energy storage systems moratorium for the Town of Plattsburgh. Batteries and battery energy storage systems have resulted in fires of varying severity across New York State in recent years. These battery-related fires are particularly difficult for emergency services to effectively respond to. The response protocol is limited by the nature of the fire and the batteries themselves, which we believe poses potential community risks. We respectfully request that the Town of Plattsburgh extend the moratorium until such time that all fire departments serving the Town of Plattsburgh can be trained and assurances from New York State are made that these systems will not put the community or our first responders at risk. We look forward to working with the town when training opportunities and a local law regulating these systems are proposed. Thank you for your consideration. Signed respectfully by Michael Recor, the Chief of the Morrisonville Fire Department.
And again, these letters have also been submitted by the Katyville Fire District, District 3, and South Plattsburgh, all the same. Is there anyone seeking the floor? Seeing that no one's seeking the floor, we'll continue to keep this public hearing open and return to the regular resolutions. 93, credit card use policy revisions.
Whereas the Town of Plattsburgh has adopted a credit card use policy in 2012 and wishes to update the current policy to comply with current law and regulation, therefore be resolved that effective immediately the revised Town of Plattsburgh credit card use policy be enacted. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution and the attached revised credit card use policy be provided to all department heads and filed with the business office.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Bosley. Is there a second?
Second?
Bostic. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Resolution carries. Resolution 94, appointment of William Plimpton to the Assessment Board of Review.
Whereas a vacancy exists on the Assessment Board of Review, and whereas Mr. William Plimpton, a resident of the Town of Plattsburgh, is willing to serve as a member of the Assessment Board of Review, therefore be resolved that the Town of Plattsburgh Town Board does hereby appoint Mr. Plimpton to the Assessment Board of Review for a term to expire of 9/30 of 2029. Be it further resolved that he take the oath of office within 30 days of his resolution, and it is further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to Mr. Plimpton and the Assessment Department.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Wood. Is there a second?
Second?
Caustic. And I just want to thank Dan Isabella for having contact with him. I also had a contact and would like to thank him for stepping up for service on one of our important boards.
Absolutely.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor, please, actually, roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Daniel Bosley,
Yes.
and Michael Cashman.
Yes. So it is passed, thank you. Resolution 95, ARC use of BMG boat launch.
Whereas the town of Plattsburgh is the owner of tax map parcel 233.1-32.2 located on Battlefield Lane, and whereas Adirondack Architectural Heritage, a non-for-profit architectural preservation organization located in Keysville, New York, has requested authorization to use tax map parcel 233.1-32.2 as the site of a temporary boat launch for the purposes of providing educational boat tours to Crown Island. And whereas the event is scheduled to occur on July 1st with a rain date of July 17th of 2025, and whereas AARCH will provide its own boat and licensed captain to conduct the tours and has provided the town with a certificate of liability insurance coverage. Now therefore be resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the temporary use of tax parcel 233.1-32.2 by AARCH for the specific purposes requested. Be further resolved that a copy of this resolution and the certificate of liability insurance coverage will be provided to the town finance officer.
Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Awesome. Is there a second?
Second.
Awesome. This is a great new public-private partnership. Looking forward to continuing and just, remind people this is a temporary boat launch. Just if you read the heading, I don't want people to think that it's going to be out there long-term. It's temporary, but at least it stitches into the mission of what the BMG is all about. So,
That's what our long-term goal is,
Yep.
is that, to
Correct.
finish that with the third.
And ARCH is a phenomenal organization at education and preservation of historic
absolutely.
sites. So, yes.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Resolution carries. Resolution 96, creating housing acceleration measures for Plattsburgh, otherwise known as CHAMP.
Whereas the town of Plattsburgh has been designated as a pro-housing community by New York State, and whereas the town board acknowledges the housing data provided by Lake Champlain Regional Planning Board, indicating the need for over 4,000 units of housing in the Plattsburgh region. And whereas the town of Plattsburgh intends to be a leader in the development of new, high-quality, affordable housing, and whereas the town has studied national best practices and has audited the town zoning ordinance to determine if unnecessary restrictions exist, or if barriers to residential development are impeding the construction of residential units. And whereas the town board has identified and asserts that the following specific changes to the town zoning ordinance regulating residential development are likely to result in the increased development of housing. Multifamily housing development shall be permitted in the A2 zoning district, subject to site plan review by the planning board. Multifamily housing development shall be permitted in the SC zoning district, subject to site plan review by the planning board. The conversion of single-family homes to duplexes, two-family dwelling, shall be permitted in the T4 and T5 districts within the same footprint via the building permit process. Duplexes, two-family dwellings, shall be permitted in the MDR district, subject to the minimum lot density requirements proposed, with multiple duplexes on one lot considered as multifamily dwellings requiring site plan review by the planning board. And the allowable density of multifamily residential development in the MDR district shall be a minimum of 1 unit per 5,000 square feet of lot, plot, parcel area. And whereas the same has been placed on the desk of all the members of the town board this date, together with a full environmental assessment form, part 1, as having been prepared for such a public hearing on such proposed local law is necessary. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board acknowledging receipt of the proposed local law number 2 of the year 2025, entitled Creating Housing Acceleration Measures for Plattsburgh, CHAMP. The accompanying full EAF Part 1, and after review of same, finds that the effect of such regulation would be town-wide, and finds that such action be a type 1 action, and hereby does declare itself as lead agency in connection with proposed local law, and having further found that no other agency is involved in the adoption of such regulation. Be it further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to cause notice of a public hearing on the proposed CHAMP law to be published in the Press Republican in accordance with the town law, and is further resolved that a public hearing be held on April 3rd of 2025 at 6:05 p.m. for the purpose of hearing all persons for and against this proposed local law, to be held at the town of Plattsburgh Town Hall offices here at 151 Banker Road, Plattsburgh, New York. Be it further resolved that the town clerk is hereby directed to post, publish, and mail notice of the public hearing as required to adjacent municipalities, any involved or interested agencies, and the Clinton County Planning Board pursuant to New York State General Municipal Law 239M.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Bosley. Any discussion? We had talked about this during the work session last week. I think it's going to be a great thing for the town. Look forward to the public hearing. Can I get a roll
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Daniel Bowesley,
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes, resolution does pass. Okay. Going back to the public hearing, I'm reading that top statement again.
Notice is hereby given that the town of Plattsburgh Town Board will meet and hold public hearings thereon at the town hall located on Banker Road in the town of Plattsburgh, Clinton County, New York, on Thursday, March 20, 2025, at 6:05 p.m. prevailing time in relation to proposed local law number 1 of 2025, a local law imposing a 12-month moratorium on applications for battery-based energy storage systems.
This evening, we received written record from the Morrisonville Fire Department, Gadyville Fire Department, District 3 Fire Department, and South of Plattsburgh. At this time, is there anyone seeking the floor? Is there anyone seeking the floor? Is there anyone seeking the floor? Seeing that no one is seeking the floor, seek a motion to close this public hearing. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Bostick, is there a second?
Second.
Wood, any discussion? Can I get a roll call, please?
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Daniel Bowesley,
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes. We will have closed this public hearing at 6:15 p.m. We can move to Resolution 97, a resolution authorizing the adoption of a local law number 1 of 2025, imposing a 12-month moratorium on applications of battery-based energy storage systems.
Whereas a resolution was duly adopted by the town board of the town of Plattsburgh for a public hearing to be held by said governing body on March 20th of 2025 at 6:05 at the town of Plattsburgh at 151 Banker Road, Plattsburgh, New York, to hear all interested parties on a proposed local law entitled Local Law Number 1 of 2025, imposing a 12-month moratorium of applications for battery-based energy storage systems. And whereas notice of said public hearing was duly advertised in the Press Republic and the official newspaper of said town on March 12th of 2025, and whereas said public hearings was duly held on March 20th of 2025 at 6:05 at 151 Banker Road, and all parties in attendance were permitted an opportunity to speak on behalf of or in opposition to said proposed local law, or any part thereof. And whereas pursuant to Part 617 of the implementing regulations pertaining to Article 8 State Environmental Quality Review Act, the seeker, it has been determined by the town board of the town of Plattsburgh that this is a type 2 action and no further review will be and could be processed by other applicable governmental agencies without further regard to seeker. And whereas the town board of the town of Plattsburgh, after due deliberation, finds it in the best interest of said town to adopt said local law. Therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Plattsburgh hereby adopts said local law number 1 of 2025 entitled a local law imposing a 12-month moratorium of applications for battery-based energy storage systems, a copy of which is attached here to and made part of this resolution. Be further resolved that the town clerk be and she hereby directed to enter said local law in the minutes of the meeting and in the local law book of the town of Plattsburgh, and to give due notice of the adoption of the local law to the Secretary of State of New York.
Is there a motion?
So.
And Chuck, any discussion? Seeing none. Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Daniel Bowesley,
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes, resolution carries. I know of no need for an executive session this evening. Is there a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
So moved.
Bostick, is there a second?
Second.
Bosley. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We will adjourn at 6:18. Drive safe, everyone.
Snowstorm out there.
It's not. Get out of here.